Thank you so much for joining me here. I'm so excited to present on BioScopy, this root cause preventative medicine testing option for us. So if we imagine our body having a dashboard full of warning lights, but they only turn on when something is already seriously wrong, that is a problem, but that is conventional medicine today. That is where we're at, where you only get a diagnosis once your alarm bells are sounding, when you have enough symptoms where they can categorize it as a diagnosis. Now, this is why I developed BioScopy. We are catching things years in advance. You know as well as I do how often your patients tell us that something is wrong, but everything checks out medically. So we want to change that. And here is what we find within these 7 key findings. My tagline is master your wellness, master your health, because master your wellness, map your health, because we're literally mapping it. So here is some images. This is exciting. Your healthy dry blood will look like this. I hardly ever see this, unfortunately. This is someone that is riddled with parasites in both of these images, more so on the right. So parasites show up as black spots, like in here, and on the exterior, they're heavier particles, as are toxins. Viral spiking will be in the white, and that will look like some webbing inside of there. We're also looking for color variations, and signs of heavy metals are again heavier particles, so they are going to the exterior. Some more pictures of this. More people riddled with parasites, viral spiking, signs of heavy metals, or environmental pollutants that maybe we need to test further to see the specifics. This is an image. This is the blood dried on a microscope slide that I am taking pictures of. This is something that we've been doing for a very long time, about 50 years, and scientists and researchers all across the world found these similarities in certain patients. So although this is not evidence-based, according to what science would have us document, it's observational based over a very long period of time. And something that really sold me on this technique was that back 50 years ago, these scientists and researchers couldn't have known about each other, but they concluded similar things. So the second finding, we see lymphatic congestion. This is a big one today with all the microplastics. It looks like this ring, very hard ring around. So the exterior is our skin health. We'll get to next, it's lymphatic system, then vital organs, and then in the gut. So that's the way that our blood, when it's dried, it is reflecting all of those things. Here is the gut health. The dark center. And when we have these white spots, we are seeing inflammation in the gut, not just a gut microbiome imbalance. When it's not a good rich red color, but more of a yellow tinge to it, sometimes green, we want to look into fungal infections. Here on the right, it is a very severe case of a fungal, systemic fungal infection, very chronic. The third thing, we're still on this microbiome. I'm just giving you the variation of what we can see. The white specks in here is very inflamed gut. This would be someone with very severe condition like Crohn's or irritable bowel, something like that. The fourth finding is oxidative stress. The more white you have, the more tissue damage. Oxidative stress is that inflammation affecting us on a tissue level, which can be different than what the urine is telling us. Sometimes we are not showing this level of inflammation, but it does show in the urine. I'll get to that. why this would be the case, that is what bioscopy is all about. So if we're not showing it on the tissue level, then we can look into food sensitivities. What are you intaking that is causing inflammation, but not yet creating damage on that physical tissue level? Here is the sixth finding: the skin health. When we don't have enough antioxidants, the coast, that should be a nice protective barrier all the way around. Like on the right here, it's there, but it disappears on the other section. We need antioxidants to protect our skin when it's all spread out. When we don't have it, we want to look at more essential fatty acids, maybe do omega testing, and look into liver gallbladder health, where those fats are, the gallbladder is tasked with uptaking our essential fatty acids, and that's where we uptake the vitamin E, vitamin A, those fat-soluble vitamins. More skin health pictures. This is someone that has suffered a severe burn, and this is as they're healing. So this was in the past. This is as they heal. This is, a pretty good coast there. I was trying to find a good image of what it should look like. And then constitution would be the last main thing that we look at is the color. Is it faded? Are they anemic? Are they getting enough protein? These are all trace elements, specifically sulfur. These are all the things that we want to be looking at and considering. And then here's a little summary of all the things that we've covered thus far. These are just the main things that we look at. This is another image that shows a little bit more details. The thyroid, apparently you can see, I don't interpret the dry blood analysis quite so specifically, but I suppose some do. And the urine. So the biochemical changes happen first in this earlier molecular spark of life, that end result of your biochemical processes. So if we think of it as this level of organization, we have the energy level, the ATP within the cells, that spark. And then we have cellular health we need to maintain with those essential fatty acids being on the membranes of each and every cell, especially the red blood cells that are developing or distributing oxygen and nutrients throughout the body. And then we make the tissue level, and that is when we see it in the dry blood. And it's only when we have prolonged tissue damage that goes into organ damage that our traditional labs are picking up on. So that is why this is preventative. Health is a puzzle. It takes careful consideration. We are doing a deep dive into health with this test, BioScopy. Thank you so much for attending this little presentation. I look forward to reviewing your results and those of your patients.